Have you ever put on a perfectly good pair of trousers, a nice shirt, maybe even a good jacket, and somehow when you look in the mirror, you still don't look as sharp as you expected? You check the shirt, you check the trousers, everything seems fine, but something feels older. Here's something most men never think about. Look down. Your shoes may be the reason, because shoes don't just complete an outfit, they can completely change how the rest of you looks. The wrong pair can make your clothes look dated, make your legs appear shorter, and even make a well-dressed man look like he's stuck in another decade. And the strange thing is, you may have owned those shoes for years without ever realizing it. Today, we're covering 7 shoe mistakes that quietly age a man over 50, and what wear instead. Fair warning, the last 2 aren't really about the shoes at all. They're about something a little deeper. Stay to the end for those. Because dressing well after 50 isn't about trying to look 30. It's about looking like the best version of the man you are today. Let's start with number 7. Mistake number 7, worn-out running shoes. There's a pair of shoes almost every man owns. Comfortable, familiar, the ones you reach for when you don't want to think about what you're wearing. Old running shoes, soles worn down, fabric a little dirty, shapes starting to collapse. But because they're comfortable, you keep wearing them. Here's the problem. A running shoe that's clearly lived through years of use doesn't communicate comfort, it communicates neglect. And after 50, small details like this carry more weight than you'd think. You don't need expensive shoes, you need intentional ones. Instead, choose a clean, simple sneaker with a structured shape, something minimal that works with jeans, chinos, or casual trousers, and keep it clean. A $60 shoe that's well-maintained will always beat an expensive one that looks exhausted. The truth is, comfort doesn't require looking careless. Mistake number 6, extremely square-toed dress shoes. Now, a shoe that was once considered stylish, the extremely square-toed dress shoe. For years, these were everywhere. Offices, weddings, business meetings. Plenty of men still have a pair sitting in the closet, and they may even be comfortable. But that exaggerated square shape can date an entire outfit. And because shoes sit at the bottom of your body, you might not immediately realize where that old-fashioned feeling is coming from. You just know something looks off. Try this instead, a more streamlined toe, not extremely pointed, not exaggerated, just clean and proportional. A classic almond or gently rounded shape works for a far wider range of clothing and reads as sophisticated rather than trend-chasing. The truth is, timeless doesn't mean frozen in time. A classic shoe should look appropriate today, not like it walked out of an old photograph. Mistake number 5, shoes that are too heavy and bulky. Here's one most men never consider: weight. Some shoes are simply too bulky for the clothes around them. Huge soles, thick construction, oversized shapes. Under ordinary trousers, they can make your entire lower body look heavier, feet larger, legs shorter, proportions off. This matters more as we get older, because good style increasingly comes down to proportion. You don't need everything slim, you need everything to work together. What works better? Shoes with enough structure to look substantial, but not so much that they dominate the outfit. For casual wear, a clean leather sneaker or simple suede shoe. For smart casual, a loafer or refined derby gives you structure without unnecessary bulk. The truth is, your shoes should support the outfit, not become the outfit. If your shoes are the first thing you notice in the mirror, they're doing too much. Mistake number 4, dirty white sneakers. White sneakers can be genuinely stylish, but there's a difference between white and once white. You know the pair: soles gone gray, dark marks on the fabric, dirty along the sides, and somehow you still think they're fine. They're not. The entire appeal of white shoes is that they look clean. When they're not, they drag the rest of the outfit down with them, no matter how good your trousers or shirt is. Fix it simply. If you're keeping the white sneakers, maintain them. Clean the soles, wipe the upper, retire them when they're past saving. If you'd rather skip the upkeep, a darker neutral, navy, brown, gray, taube, is just as versatile and far more forgiving. The truth is, a clean shoe makes simple clothes look better.
You may not need more shoes, just better care of the ones you already own.
Mistake number 3. Cheap-looking, shiny dress shoes. There's a certain dress shoe that looks shiny from across the room, almost plastic, overly glossy, stiff in shape, often paired with a formal outfit that hasn't changed in decades. Dress shoes shining isn't the problem. A quality, polished leather shoe looks excellent. The problem is when the shine is the first thing anyone notices. Instead of refined, it reads as inexpensive. Look for quality materials with a controlled finish, a subtle polish, a natural leather texture, a refined silhouette. And remember, brown doesn't mean boring. Dark brown, burgundy, oxblood, and deep tan add character without looking flashy. The truth, quiet quality almost always outperforms obvious shine. A good shoe doesn't need to announce its price, it just needs to look right. Now, the last two aren't really about shoes. They're about something most style guides never mention. Mistake number 2, shoes that don't match your life anymore. This one's different. Sometimes the problem isn't the shoe, it's the story behind it. Maybe you spent 30 years in an office, so you still own 5 pairs of formal business shoes, but your life has changed. Maybe you work from home now. Maybe you're retired. Maybe your days look like travel, restaurants, friends, weekends, walking around the city, and yet your shoe collection still belongs to the man you were 20 years ago. That's when your wardrobe quietly stops reflecting your actual life. Build around the life you're living now. You don't need 20 pairs, you need a few good ones. A clean, casual sneaker, a refined, casual shoe, a versatile brown or burgundy dress shoe, a comfortable walking shoe that still looks presentable, and maybe a loafer for smart casual days. The exact mix depends on your life. The principle doesn't. Your clothes should fit the life you actually have. The truth, growing older doesn't mean dressing more formally. It means becoming more intentional about what you wear. Mistake number 1. Holding on to shoes that should have been retired. And here's the biggest mistake. It's not really about fashion, it's about attachment. How many pairs are sitting in your closet right now that you haven't worn in years? Maybe they're comfortable, maybe they were expensive, maybe they remind you of a season of your life, when your kids were younger or the job you used to have, and because they still technically work, you keep them. Look closer. Is the leather cracked? Is the sole worn through? Has the shape gone soft or distorted? Would you actually choose this shoe today, or are you just used to it? There's a real difference between keeping something because it's useful and keeping it because you're afraid to let it go. Your wardrobe shouldn't be a museum. It should support the life you're living now. The man you were at 35 doesn't need the same shoes as the man you are at 55. And the man you'll be at 65 doesn't need to dress exactly the way you did at 45. Your style is supposed to evolve, not because you're chasing youth, but because you've become someone different. Your challenge this weekend, pull every pair of shoes out of your closet, line them up on the floor, ask 3 questions. Do they still fit properly? Do they still look good? Would I buy these again today? If the answer is no to that last one, you already know what to do. Let them go. Make room for something better. So there you have it. 7 shoe habits that can quietly make a man over 50 look older than he really is. Notice something. None of this required spending thousands of dollars. You don't need a closet full of designer shoes, you don't need to chase every trend, and you definitely don't need to dress like a younger man. You need something simpler. Clean shoes, good proportions, quality where it counts, and the confidence to let go of what no longer represents you. Style after 50 isn't about proving you're young, it's about showing you've grown into yourself. A man who takes care of his shoes is usually saying something without a word. He pays attention, he has standards, he respects himself, and he understands that looking sharp was never about impressing the room. It's about walking into it and knowing you belong there. Before this week is over, look down at the shoes you're wearing right now. Are they helping you look like the man you are today, or are they just a habit you haven't questioned yet? You might be surprised by the answer. If today's video gave you something useful, tell me in the comments which pair of shoes in your closet is finally ready to retire. And if you're new here,
Welcome to Sharp After 50. This channel is for men who aren't trying to become younger, they're trying to become sharper. Sharper in how they dress, how they carry themselves, and how they live. If that's the man you're becoming, subscribe and join us. Because your best style doesn't have to be behind you, it can still be ahead of you. Until next time, dress with purpose, walk with confidence, and keep becoming the man you want to be.